Where should I start? It's September 2003, roughly 20 years ago. And I was 15 years old at that time, in my 9th or 10th grade. I don't remember exactly. So there was this guy in my school, sort of like a big guy, very influential father, very rich guy also, right? He used to bully me a lot. I got bullied in the school very much, like a lot of the time. And so he was walking up to me, and whenever he walks to me, it's bad news. It's just bad news. And my sixth sense is telling me that, okay, no, this is dangerous stuff. So he walked up to me, and he started yelling at me, and it was a daily activity. It was not something that was just happening. It was a daily routine for me, sort of. That was fine. So he was yelling at me. While he was yelling, this time it was slightly different. And I'm trying, I worked very hard to come up with a real story. You know, this is not something that's made up or for the speech. It's actually what happened. So this time he was yelling at me, but something very different was happening. He was telling me that you are a poor person, you will remain poor, you know. But rather than hearing that, what I'm hearing is that what if I'm a rich person? What if I become very rich, you know? And then he was telling me that you are insignificant, you'll remain insignificant. And then I'm thinking, no, what if I become very impactful? What kind of life will that be? Is that a beautiful life? Do I want to live that life, you know? And that reality in myself, that was the first probably time in my life when I was introduced to the concept of dreaming and the beauty of dreaming. It's just so beautiful. You can create, I could create my own reality. I could visualize. I've always been very good at visualizing stuff. Like you meet me, you tell me your phone number, I do not remember it, I go home, I can visualize you back telling me your phone number. My visual memory is that good, you know. So I could really visualize myself dreaming that, okay, what if I become a very rich person who is very impactful? Will that life be very interesting to live? And all of a sudden, my ordeal that was happening, my bad ordeal that was happening there, became a very, very good memory in my past. And then so I was, and later on in my life, what I learned is that your basic right as a human being, your basic right, like somebody may not even have the basic right of freedom, that's fine. But your basic right that nobody can take away from you is the right to dream. Whatever you want to dream. Like whatever you want to think, whatever you want to create in your mind. And that does not have to be realistic either, because that's a dream, you know. And that's fine, totally fine. That brings me to our today's conversation, which is manifestation. Manifestation is essentially an art of dreaming something and speaking it to reality, and the distance you cover in between is the art of manifestation, right? And so, and going from dreaming to manifestation, there are certain steps involved, obviously, but it all starts with how you dream. So there was this great book I really encourage, I cannot encourage it more, that please do read, Man's Search for Meaning. How many have you read it already? Amazing. Take Viktor Frankl. A guy who was in prison in a Nazi camp, sentenced to death. They were starved so much that they were forced to eat each other. That kind of condition he's living in, right? And then one day, guards took him away, and they stripped him naked, and then they were doing experiments on his body. And while they were doing it, he said in his book that I was imagining that one day I will survive this. One day I will go to a university, I will tell my story to many students, and he was smiling, he was happy while everything was happening to him. Because really, you create your own reality in your mind. And so when later on I realized that we name it many different things. We call it dreaming, we call it trips, we call it psychedelic trips. I'm not talking about mushrooms and LSDs. Say, clear ho jaye students hain yahan pe. So you can really, without having mushrooms, without having LSD, you can really dream so much so that you can create your reality, you can live in that reality. And there is a formula attached to it. There is actual step process that are involved that takes you from dream to reality. And the number one step is you dream. But when you dream, be very battamiz in dreaming. Say, audacious. something which is not close to reality. I was looking for a right word, I couldn't find it. So then I came up with this beautiful word. It's called chutzpah, chutzpah, chutzpah. It's a beautiful, beautiful word. The meaning, the dictionary meaning of chutzpah is extreme audacity. Like anything which is extremely audacious, that's chutzpah. And the example to explain chutzpah is that a kid who has just murdered his parents is asking the judge for mercy on the basis that he's an orphan, right? That's chutzpah. Right? Extreme audacity, badtamizi. Matlab, you killed your parents. You're not an orphan. You are essentially. So dreams so big that you are yourself scared of your dreams, and you are scared that people will laugh at you on your dreams. And then that's the first step of doing it. So at that time, I dreamt that, okay, I will become a very rich guy. Those of you who know me, I'm from Rahimia Khan, very poor family. My father died very early. My mother was a government servant. So we did not have much money, or I did not go to any good schools. FAST was my first good institution that I've been to. And I was not very good in English also. So essentially, but I'm thinking that I want to get very rich because the concept of getting rich, because the concept and the reality of being there just fascinates me a lot, right? And so when I started my first job, so that's number one step. Number two, whatever your dream is, pen it down, like write it down. Your dreams can't be vague. Don't have vague dreams. Don't say I want to be rich. That's not a dream. That's an illusion, right? A dream would be that, okay, I want to get this much dollar in that many years. For me, I went to my first job at Census, and the CEO at that day told that write down your why, write down what do you want to become in your life, please go home and do that today. And I was like, yeah, let's just do that. And I went back home, I wrote down exactly how much I want. So I wrote down $7.2 million, right? My salary was 17,000 rupees. If the dollar was at 100 rupees at that time, it would have taken me 42,000 years, even if I save 100% of my money, right? But I was like, no, I want to make $7.2 million. I want to travel the world. I've never taken a visa. I've never gone out of Lahore or Rahimia Khan, right? 2 cities. And now I want to travel the world. That's okay. That's just a dream. I'm just penning it down by this much time. By the time I became 30, I want to do that, So pen it down. That's second step. Number 3 is that don't really give up on your dreams very easily, So as I said, manifestation is traveling from a dream to a reality, And that distance. So have you seen a baby who starts walking, He gets up, he starts walking, he fell down. He does not give up. He then starts walking again. And then he fell down. And then he does not give up. Then starts walking again. You don't give up. You fell down, that's fine. You lose when you decide to quit. That's simple. You don't decide to quit, you don't lose. That's very simple. But you got to fail. You have to have days where you are feeling very, very low. You will have days where you will see that you are the most stupid person in this life. And why are you doing this in the first place? This is not making you happy at all. But then there will be days when you'll have the ups. The expectation of being happy all the time, that's a wrong expectation. When we are chasing happiness, we are not chasing happiness. We are chasing pleasure. We confuse happiness with pleasure all the time. Happiness is inside. Pleasure is very much dependent on the things that are outside. Money, or food, or whatever. That is pleasure. That's not happiness. Happiness is inside. There are precursors to happiness. One precursor is peace of mind, obviously. And there are other ways to achieve happiness or attract happiness. And happiness is something that you can attract, not chase. Whenever you are chasing happiness, you are essentially chasing pleasure. Anyways, that's not the topic. Topic is manifestation. So don't give up very easily. We had many failures. We went up, we went down. In 2009, I started the company. In 2016, 7-8 years later, I had 6 employees. I just bought an office of 80 employees that has the capacity of 80 engineers. We had 20 chairs with us. We had 6 engineers. We went from 50 engineers back to 6 engineers. We lost all of our money, all of our projects, and we did not, essentially, I could take charity at that point of time. I was so poor, like in reality, in 2016, just 6 years ago, right? Just 6 years ago. And but what I realized was that, okay, now I think I've learned the art of entrepreneurship. I think I found product market fit. Now I think if I'd have to do it again, I can really do it in a better way, right? So rather than, so we have very little money. I think it was 700,000 rupees. So that is at that time roughly $7,000 roughly. That was less than a salary backup, one salary backup. That was less than that. So what I did was that essentially I went ahead and bought 50 more chairs for the office. We have 6 engineers. We have 20 chairs. That's way more than what we need. We bought 50 more chairs in a time when we could not afford to do anything. We could not afford to pay salaries. Why? Because those empty chairs is motivation for me that this is what we want to become. This is what we want to do. What if you fly? What if you fall? I will not optimize for what if I fall. I will not optimize. This is not motivation. This is real stuff. This is real stuff. This is the history of Devs Inc. I have been through all this. Like, I remember it as if it's yesterday. I could really have those flashbacks. Okay, how did that happen? And that's exactly how it happened. We went from me being broke, actually minus $4,000 in total, to $7.2 million in less than 2 years from there. So 2017, by December, I was retired for my life. $7.2 million. Way more money than I can spend. It's वो नाना पाटेकर साहब कहते हैं कि करोड़ में कितने सिफर होते हैं कमाए हो तो बताओ सही $7.2 million में कितने सिफर होते हैं oh boy I don't know I still don't know it's a lot of money and when that happens I realized that okay yeah that's one dream now I want to make another company which is 1,000 of size. At that time we were roughly 111 or 112, roughly less than 120 people, right? And then we thought, okay, let's just make a company of 1,000 engineers. 2016, we want to make a company of 1,000 engineers, the first IT company that will cross 1,000. There were very few companies at that time, at that point of time. And in 7 years, we achieved that too, right? Last year, we achieved 1,000. We crossed our 1,000 count. Now we are 1,700 employee company. We are growing. We are the fastest growing company in Pakistan. The fourth thing that I learned is that you have decided a dream, you have penned it down, you have decided that you will not give up on it. Now have a desire of it. All the religion, all the philosophies that I have read, and I've read so many philosophies. Do read philosophy, by the way. Do read philosophies. It's helpful. All the philosophies are telling us that desire is a precursor of unhappiness. Like desire, what is desire? What is desire? Desire is a contract that I make with myself that I will not be happy unless I have this, right? It's a contract. I will not be happy unless I achieve something, right? Now, if I have 10 desires, that will make me not only an unhappy person, but also somebody who cannot achieve their desire. Because if you're focusing on 10 things, you will not be able to achieve it. But what I am saying is, have one desire, just one desire, and then whatever it takes. Having one desire is totally fine. If you don't have a desire, you cannot be happy. Because happiness is made up of enjoyment, fulfillment, and purpose. If the purpose is missing, then you cannot be happy. Just cannot. You are having pleasure, but during your pleasure time, you will feel withdrawal. Pleasure comes with withdrawal. Somebody asked the last speaker, are you happy? Yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question. And I'm pretty sure that when we talk about happiness, we don't talk about real happiness. We are talking about pleasure. Are we having pleasure? Maybe, maybe not. Are we happy? That's a state of mind. If you are on a purpose, it's possible that you are sad. It's possible that you are hurt. It's possible that you are down, but still very happy. Because you're on a purpose. So purpose is very important. Okay. What was the fourth point? Have a real desire to achieve what you want to achieve, and then whatever it takes. If your dream is real, you are really passionate about it. Like it cannot be that uska dream tha rich hona, so I'll have the same dream. I'll be rich through. Everyone wants to become rich. I'll be a billionaire. Usman sahab said, have a stupid dream, I'll have a stupid dream, I'll be a billionaire. No, your mind will not follow you in this. If your mind is not there, it will not follow you. You will not have what it takes to really do it. You really got to find your passion. You really want to understand your why. You really have to have this conversation with you. My personal opinion, a formula that I use is meditation is very overrated. Meditation is where you sit down, there should be no noise, you focus on your breath. No, this is not how it works. Do meditate, just talk to yourself. Just sit down and do me time, thinking. Whatever thoughts are coming, it's coming. Your last breakup, it's okay. Your last trauma, it's fine. F aa gaya, sure, no problem. Think about it. You're not overthinking, don't worry. You're not overthinking. That's not overthinking is. Go deep in your thinking. Talk to yourself. This is chatter. This chatter is there because you don't talk to yourself. And that's why there is chatter. That's why there is chatter. But once you make this habit of talking to yourself, I personally believe that if you talk to yourself 2 hours daily for 2 months, you will be able to achieve what I personally believe a psychedelic trip. What I personally believe a psychedelic trip, where you really get to the level where you can understand yourself. So do that, right? Now, these are the 4 steps. I suggest you follow that. Right now in 2023, here I'm standing, and I have a dream. 7 years ago, we wanted to become a 1,000 employee company. People said it's impossible. You will not become that. We did that. Right now, I am dreaming that we will become Pakistan's #1 80,000 employee company, the next Infosys from Pakistan. We are living in a country which is on the verge of bankruptcy, which is very poor. People are leaving us. People are saying this is not a safe country. It's politically unstable. I don't want my kids to grow up over there. In this country, I'm saying that we'll make a country in 7 years, inshallah, which is tech-based. World cannot survive without us. World would need us. We would serve the whole nation. Just like if you remove Sweden, IKEA would not be there. If you remove Korea, Samsung would not be there. Just like that, if you remove Pakistan, world software need will not work. Let's make a Pakistan like this. This is the dream that I have, and I'm very hopeful that I'll be able to manifest that. So help me God.